This review has been approved by Lord Carnage.
Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything.
Control.
I'm back with another review of Destiny, this time on the PlayStation 4. Previously, I reviewed the game on the PlayStation 3 and generally enjoyed it, although as I said, it's nothing you haven't seen before. It's just done pretty well, and apparently, this really upset some people who sent me nasty messages because I didn't bash the game. What was I supposed to? It seems to play pretty well. I've actually enjoyed Destiny, and no, I haven't been bribed, paid off. The publisher has not offered me Doritos, sports tickets, Mountain Dew, or sex. And that's a shame because I could really go for some Cool Ranch Doritos right about now. If you've played these kinds of games before, I think you'll find Destiny familiar, predictable, and generally enjoyable. It's like a combination of Borderlands and Halo, as I've said before. I think it plays really well, and the PlayStation 4 version looks great, as you can see. And Destiny's budget is apparently that of all the money on Earth. It's what, the most expensive game ever made, and it doesn't really feel like it. I'm not sure where they spent it all. Maybe the sound design, the surround sound mixing, music, audio, and effects are all great. You can bash the game for its lack of originality, but the audio is superb.
There's so much.
And let's take a moment to talk about originality, because no big budget game, no AAA game is going to take a chance with originality anymore. So you gotta go into a game like this expecting it to be predictable. But I also expect it to work well, which, to be honest, it does, as long as you have an internet connection. This is one of those you must be connected to the server type of games, and yeah, that's kind of annoying. So when you start out your level 1, there's a storyline which is paper thin. There really is no plot to speak of. It's all about leveling up, collecting weapons and armor, and then enjoying these strike missions and multiplayer. When you really get down to it, Destiny isn't all that long. And not that length makes for a good game, but there's not that many environments to blow up and destroy. And for the price of the game, that's its weakness, because after you win, you can just play all of the environments over and over again and continue leveling up and collecting stuff up until level 20, where you'll then need to find super special armor. But for the complete enjoyment of Destiny, you will obviously have to spend on extra DLC, and this infuriates everyone, because it's an expensive game to begin with. But you can still enjoy the game without spending extra. The designers give you a lot of different ways to play the environments that you eventually become familiar with. There's strike missions, multiplayer obviously, and the harder strike missions are great. You go in with 2 or 3 people and destroy like a giant end boss and collect all kinds of neat stuff along the way. There's actually a fair number of those, but in conclusion, wrapping up my trifecta of Destiny reviews, I like the game because it's just fun and kinda relaxing after a while. I'm not being forced to think. It's really not all that technically challenging because the emphasis is on collecting more powerful weapons and armor. I think the gameplay is well executed for what it is, and it really does look and sound great on the PlayStation 4, and I imagine the Xbox One version is similar, if not identical. Are there better games out there? Well, of course there are, depending on what kind of games you're into. Destiny is a good grinding multiplayer style shooter with nice co-op. It's not as good as Wolfenstein: The New Order, but it's a lot better than some other games I've played lately. Destiny plays well on PS4 and PS3. I imagine it also plays well on Xbox One and 360. It's Destiny. Lots of grinding, lots of shooting, and it can be lots of fun. If you're into a sci-fi shooter like this, just don't expect anything you haven't seen before.
I'll warn the city. Let's get out of here.